Welcome everyone to another OTECH Pros webinar, which is held every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We are glad you are here. Today we have a great crew with us. We have our 4 OTECH Pros, and we have as our special guest, Jeffrey Morla, who is a quote unquote geek in the very best and most positive sense of that word. And we like it because, you know, he is a layperson, but he loves technology. So he is part of our webinar today. We're grateful to have him. And we also have Marty DeGarmo, who usually brings in the marketing aspect to our conversation. So today's topic is the power of the single sign-on system. And we're going to begin with Collins Mana, who starts with an overview. Go ahead and take the floor, Collins.
Yes, hello. So just greeting to everyone, the viewers who are online, and also those who have joined the webinar. Yeah, so we're here again. After yesterday, we are here again for a great show, the power of single sign-on. So I just want to greet my brother Oliver, Bob, and Vincent, and Jeffrey Mallock, who is here with us today, Lynn, and Marty DeGarmo. So we are here just to simplify, you know, the power of single sign-on without going into too much technology. So even the common person, those who are watching, can really understand what they have in hand when it comes to OnPassive. So what is a single sign-on? So we'll look at why Mr. Ashmofara chose this particular topic for us to, you know, to come and inform the founders and to have like an understanding of what they have in hand. So it is just about a value, OnPassive is about value, because without value, there is just nothing. So Mr. Ashmofara is someone who always think about the founders and the customer. So he put the founders first or the customer first before the business. So the business is great, yes, but he always look about the value that the customer will bring. He wants to deliver value. And that is why he decided to make things simple. Because remember how many times, so for instance, think about your job site, just sit and think about the job you are doing. How many login credentials you have? How many of these login credentials you can memorize without, saying, oh, I've forgotten my login credentials. Please, can someone help me? Can support team help me? Can all of this? Just think about that. This is the power where we are saying OnPassive want to put something in a place where you can just have only one login credentials and you will enter into that world. What do we mean by this? Let us look at the topic, the value of having your entire digital world in one single sign-on with a wallet integrated in a vast marketplace with crowdfunding and all good cause, having the potential to profit from every transaction. So whatever we have the potential to profit from one transaction, just a single sign-on, you have your wallet and everything integrated. So just take for this scenario, you have the key in your house or your shop, a single key that is well protected. That key, say your shop has too many rooms with a lot of things, there is no need for you to have, your main key and you have several keys to open this door. Sometimes imagine if you lost one of that key, you will not have access to the other part, the other compartment. But now what we are saying is the moment you use the main key and you open that door, you are open to a vast majority of what is in store for you. And the moment you do what you want to do, maybe you carry out your transaction, you do your sales, the finance or the money you sell for that day will go to a single wallet. What will happen? That wallet, the moment you are coming out, there is something standing there asking for something for good cause. That is a crowdfunding application. It is there. It's also a product, and it is there waiting and said, please, can you give something for a good cause? That is the crowdfunding. And this crowdfunding is what is open to a vast majority. Everyone will profit from this. Millions upon millions of those who are standing out there will profit from this crowdfunding and the wallet and the products, which are all integrated in one place. So let's look at SSO, single sign-on. What does it mean? A brief definition. It is a session and user authentication. So they authenticate you, they verify you to make sure you are the person you say you are. Authentication services, that permit a user to use one set of login credentials, your login, either your username and your password and all of that, to access multiple applications. So you have one login, but when you use that login credential, you will have access to multiple applications. So with that, there is just unlimited. And this brings us to OnPassive. We have the whole entire digital world standing there, be it OMail, OConnect, Academy, name them, OTrim, OTracker. They are all lined up in there. The moment you log in, you have access to all of that. And when there is sales, what happens? It trickles into the wallet, which is also a product integrated to all of these things into a vast marketplace, cash in, cash out. And what happened? By the time you are coming out, the goodies you had from this, the benefit you have, there is a crowdfunding asking for help for humanity. That is the reason why this company was built. That is the reason why Mr. Ashmofara built this company. The heart that this man had to say, the only company in this world, IT company that had crowdfunding application. How they call it again? Bless. That is the heart of OnPassive. Bless is the heart of OnPassive. The crown, I always call it the crown of OnPassive. The things that will change many lives. Humanity is what it's built with OnPassive. So I will just leave it there with this brief introduction, and I'll hand it to Auntie Lynn. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that brief introduction. We're going to go now on to Oliver, who is going to talk about security.
Yeah, hi everybody, and I want to thank everybody that is here, and we're talking about single sign-on with wallet integration to a vast marketplace along with crowdfunding. This is how sophisticated, how superior OnPassive is. For us to have a single sign-on integrated into vast marketplace along with our crowdfunding. First, I will know my brother Vince Collins has just talked about the definition of single sign-on. But I want us to understand that single sign-on is an extra layer of security that is on top of another layer of security and security. That one is going to identify you. That's why we talk about multi-factor authentication. It is verify you that you are the person, that it authorizes you now also to get into the system, to get into that ecosystem that we have, or customers that will come also that they're going to get. So let's also look at the wallet. Once single sign-on has identified you, it will give you now the access to get now into our wallet. And that wallet now will pull you, show you now all the how our ecosystem is. Now you have access to all the other applications, like Barbara Collins just mentioned. Now we'll get into the wallet. That the wallet now is what we want to talk about. That is also get into the marketplace. Remember that when you talk about wallet, you talk money. You talk about other extra layer of security again. And that extra layer of security, because credit cards will be coming along, the marketplace is there waiting for us. Customers will be coming in. We have to secure those customers, their personal information, their credit card, their bank information, their personal information. We have to secure it. We should also remember that we have artificial intelligence embedded into our product, 100% automated, and integration. So that wallet now that we have to secure. Where is it stored? In our data center, multi-region data center, which is hybrid. Once we have those things, and our data center, as we know, we have the best and the best and the best of data center, because the technology that is used to put our data center together, like our CEO told us the other day, that was Monday, that we are going to dominate the market. Yes, we are going to dominate the market, because the security that we have in place with the power of artificial intelligence, also our system is going to be I will not give 100, let me say 98%, because in security, you don't give 100%. But again, like I said yesterday, that you trust, but you verify. In security, you trust, you verify. With OnPassive, yes, when you trust, you verify, limited risk. There's one thing also, to protect that wallet, that also, it goes through our crowdfunding. Between the wallet and the crowdfunding, too much of financial transaction will be going on, because people will come. We remember also that we have Obless. That is our crowdfunding, the best and the best. The security that is also around our crowdfunding, since it's stored within our prem, our cloud data center that is hybrid, we have control over our security. Our security there also between wallet and crowdfunding, bam. The first layer the first stage is the SSO. That is also give you that space to get into it. Then now the wallet and our crowdfunding that store in our prem multi-region data center, that is hybrid also. The firewalls are there. We have very powerful firewalls in the multi-regions just to penetrate. And with the power of AI also, they cannot. We are going to this. The United States had the highest number of data breach 2021. They will not come to us. The bad guys, my brother Bob said it last night. It's bad news to the bad guys. Why? Because we have artificial intelligence embedded into our wallet and Obless. So there's no way that they'll be able to come. And in our wallet, the AI now is going to perfect itself. The more data we collect, our AI, the algorithms, they now will perfect itself now, that they'll have that robust way to prevent anything to come in. The automation now kicks in our AI. That when the automation now with our AI kicks in now, our defense is there. So there will be no way for them to get into us. Limited, I can say 98% we are secured. 98% we are secured. When you want to look into the equipment and that they are connected in our servers, the CEO told us last year that OnPassive is going to get better. AI servers. AI servers. So the security that our servers are AI servers. I keep talking about 5G connected, fiber optic cables connected. So with all this, we are safe. I will say that we are safe and we have control. Even the customers that will be coming in the marketplace, as we know that it is integrated into a vast marketplace, the 5 billion or more than 5 billion customers that will be coming to us, rushing to us. Remember that we have the brand, the marketing campaign is going on, So OnPassive is not going to be brand. But when we look at, let me go back to security. That is what I'm talking about. AI is going to identify suspicious behavior. It's going to dictate fraud. Just that alone, because the firewalls, before you come in, the AI now kicks in, dictate the future and current attacks. So most common thing that I just talked about, the data breach, we are going to be fine on that because we have that robust defense on our firewall before they even penetrate. Yes, we don't trust anything that comes from the World Wide Web, from the internet, but we also have the SSL certification that they will not be able to get into it. Our AI also will enable vulnerabilities to be found that a human could not be able to. So you see how our CEO has planted enough money into the security. My brother Bob and Vincent, they said yesterday that our database is fully secured. Our database is fully secured. There'll be a lot of transmission of data since payment from the wallet, crowdfunding, and the marketplace, there will be a lot of transmission of data. TLS also secured 1.3. The data that are going to be at rest in our database that the CEO told us that is fully secured is AES should be. The CEO confirmed that to us a month ago. Is AES 256. So see how secured our data, customers' data, which is customer satisfaction, is secured. We are also customers, the founders. We are secured. The defense that we have is secured. Another thing, password policies that are going to that is going to be out. That I know the CEO will come out with the password policy. The complexity of our password, the length of the password, the restriction for unused password also is going to be there. So all round, we are secured and we are safe. Again, that we have AI, that the AI is going to perfect the algorithms every day as more data comes in. Again, we do have a department now that our CEOs told us, AI department and machine learning, that they're going to perfect it and work on it, solidify it. So when it goes out there, our security will be untouchable. And OnPassive is going to be the number one. The number one, not only in data center, not only in domain, in everything. So I'll end it there, and I will say our wallet integration with the vast marketplace to our crowdfunding, we are safe. OnPassive, talking with the CEO, I will say it authoritatively, and somebody that's been in the field for more than 24 years, we are safe and we are good to go. Thank you very much. Angeline, take it from there.
Lynn, we can't hear you.
You are muted.
Oh, hello. I was talking to myself, evidently. All right. I was just saying thank you very much for a great presentation about security. Now we go on to Vincent, who's going to be talking about the advantages of an SSO, and he's also going to be talking about authentication.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Angeline, for this wonderful webinar. I would like to also to thank Oliver and Collins for this great presentation. Hello to Matthew, hello to Jeffrey. So thank you, Angeline. So to start, starting from single sign-on. Single sign-on in short is SSO. So SSO authentication is required more than ever today in our digital world. So anything we do, we're talking about single sign-on. So now I will say nowadays, almost every website requires from some type of authentication to access its feature and content. So this is also important for us to know that as well. So with the number of websites and services rising, because when we go to, we need a centralized login system that is almost become necessity. So I take example of OFounder. OFounder, when we log in, we have our login. As soon as we log in, we can have access to our back office, everything there. We can go to OMail, OTracker, OTrim, everything. We can have access to everything. This is an example of single sign-on. So once we are on the website, we can use all the application over there. So the advantage of that, we have elevate, but this also is a single sign-on, elevator user experience, because what happened is that when many times, we know many times people, we are all frustrated for password issues. Sometimes people user come and then they forgot their password. So how many times people frustrated for being maybe not able to remember the password many times. So this elevates user experience as well. So SSO, like single sign-on, save times, because we women, we are not machine, because we cannot memorize every single password we use, because some of us if we know single sign-on, we are using like GoFounder when we log into our back office. If it's not the case that we need to use every application once you log into the website, like OTracker, OTrim, OMail, ODesk, OStaff, you see that we have many passwords to log into each application. So it will not easy for us to remember all this. So it will be difficult. So sometimes people forget the password. So we need to go like reset password, forgot password, click it there to reset all this. But because of single sign-on, it saves us time. We're not going to do that as well. So, and then single sign-on also improve also speed where it does must have the most, because when you go to high stake industry, when you take something like finances or maybe healthcare environment, or in large enterprises where many department employee, they need application, like when you go to hospital, the doctors or maybe all the biology, everything there, they need to log into one system and then helping all the patients in the hospital. So imagine if the doctor log into the system and they need to remember, go to application to application, it wastes the doctor time to help the patient. And then it can also have a very bad impact on the patient. It can maybe cause someone deaf. So to simplify that, having single sign-on improve the speed of those high tech industry to move forward and then look after the patient. We have also SSO also help with regularity compliance. So when you talk about regularity compliance, we talk about SOX, we talk about HIPPA, and also most importantly, we talk about PCI and DSS. So PCI is a payments card industry and the data security standard. So this is also part of the database security. So this security is allow us to get into the database and then it secure the payment. When we do a transaction payment using the database, this is sort of the regulation we use it to do the payment. So this is also need a single sign-on. So it help also to keep things or not keep a secret for the organization as well. So the organization also can be compliant with the payment regulations. So we go also to cut down the IT help desk costs, because in the IT environment, when the ticket like reset password, because I work myself in the help desk before, because sometimes the half of the day you could have most of the request is a password reset. When especially Monday morning, when people come back from weekends, they mostly forgot all the password. So you see that every ticket come in, reset password, please can you reset my password, password. So it saves also the IT also time, because now we don't have to reset a lot of password. So they will employ less people in IT to do the job, because when more people request for password reset, they need more people to do that and then help, because someone is doing something and then you forgot a password. Imagine 50 people or 30 people, the same corporation at the same time. So once go one by one to reset the password, it takes time. But if you have a single system, it takes less time for IT guys to do the job, because we have only less job for them to do it. And then these people also do password reset, save them time to do their job. The IT also cut down, and then the company also can employ less IT guys to do the job. So it's also save time and cost and save money to the company as well. Not only the IT, but also save money for the company to employ maybe 20 people in IT, they will employ maybe 10 or 15 people. So SSI is also security. I'll talk about the security of SSO. So I know my brother Oliver mentioned about security, talk about all the security system, but I would like to highlight that the security, SS single sign-on and security are all intertwined together. So they work together. So they are not separable. So it's something we need to know, because the concept of that login is also a beef of up the security. So let's say the high company resources, they are tied to the security. So single sign-on is mostly tied to the security. So it's not different from the security system, because the company who are working underlying company will build a single sign-on. They have their own security system attached to the single sign-on. So this is what, but extra, before to finish, one thing I will need advice to give is that people need to have extra strong password must be enforced for the single sign-on, because if you don't put extra password for the single sign-on, if someone crack into your system, you know that they will have all your information. So obviously we need people to be careful, and then when they're using single sign-on, they make sure that they have extra strong password system put in place. So I will leave it there, and then Anteline, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that presentation. We're going to go on now to Bob Takusi. He's going to give us a discussion on digital transformation and digital trust, as well as compliance. Thank you. Go ahead, Bob.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Bel Air, Maryland. Good to see you, my fellow brothers, Oliver, Vincent, Collins, Mr. Morlock, Anteline, Brother Mari. It's a pleasure being here again. Another beautiful weekend day, this Memorial Weekend. I hope we're all having fun. Yes, so when we actually talk about bringing our digital world to one single sign-on system, you know, we are actually talking about digital transformation. And this actually leads me to think about something that happened last year. Or I think last year or the year before, the king of Saudi Arabia, the king of UAE, United Arab Emirates, made a proclamation asking for the country to go digital, right? And sometime in December last year, the Crown Prince declared that they are putting plans in place, they are putting strategies in place to make sure that that city is digital, is 100% digital. We are in a time where we are all moving towards digital transformation. Everything is going online, everything is being done, is being automated. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, mixed reality. This is the era that we are in. I was privileged actually to be in a seminar 3 weeks ago at my brother's here, major corporations around the world. The prevalent theme throughout that conference, it was a 3-day conference, was digital transformation, digital trust. And as I sat through each day of the meeting, the theme or the tone became higher and higher and higher. But what they were saying is, they were making projections. They were talking about how the world is going digital. They are talking and they are making projections in 2025, 2026. So, and as I sat through there, I was just thinking about us here, our founder, Mr. Ash, and all the founders of OnPassive. How lucky and how privileged we are to be led by this man with this great mind. It also reminded me of a video that we have in our back office that was put sometime last year. I think when the office in Hyderabad was opened up, the video used to be in our splash page, but now it has moved since there's so many things happening. But if you go to the updates tab and then you go to Mr. Ash Mufara's tab, scroll all the way down, there's a 7 minutes and 18 seconds video. In the beginning of that video, there's a narrator who is speaking, but I believe the words are from Ash Mufara. You know, the first minute or so, he says, equal opportunity for all, building the bridge between big and small. He says every company, no matter how large you are, how big or how small you are, needs artificial intelligence. And this is what actually triggered my thought. And that we are building tomorrow's technology today. So what OnPassive is doing, we are most other companies are talking about digital transformation 5 years, in 2025, in 2026. Ash Mufara says, no, we are going to deliver it. We are going to build that tomorrow, that we are going to deliver that digital transformation today. And that's what we are doing. So when we talk about digital transformation, we're talking about the automation that we're doing. Everything is going digital. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, healthcare, finance, everything, even entertainment, everything is going digital. And the fact that we actually find ourselves right there inside Dubai at the 151st floor and the 134th floor, in the hub where IT is converging, IT commerce, everything is converging, it's not a coincidence. It is because we know that we are in that era of digital transformation where everything is changing, is going digital. Digital trust is what actually got single sign on that our purpose for this discussion today is really all about. Because the people that the providers and the consumers of these ecosystems that we build, that we are building, that customers all over the world, the billions and 5 billion, 8 billion customers are going to come into, they have to have the trust that these systems are secure. We are following the correct protocols. We are following every single thing that needs to, every single compliance regulations that is out there, that is required, that gives our customers and even us, the founders, the confidence, the trust of this system. Hence, we begin our entry into this ecosystem through single sign-on. When we log in, when we get access to this, as my brothers have said very eloquently, when we gain access to this system, we start with our single sign-on into our ecosystem. What is single sign-on? It is one of the most robust and very, very, very hard check that is being done before you gain access to the system. Serious authentication and authorization. We verify you. The system verifies you to make sure you are who you are through checking your username and your password. That's what who you are. You claim that that's who you are, right? So you supply a username and your password. Sometimes they say what you are. It could be a biometric information, maybe your fingerprint or your facial recognition. No, also our facial recognition in our wallet. It could be that. That's what you are, or something that you have. Example, the one-time password is they call it, could be a token or that code, one-time password that you receive. That is something that you have. So we go through this authentication system, and then once you go through, then the system now checks, because when you get through, you have access to all the various applications. So the system checks to make sure you are authorized in all these applications. There could be instances where you are in a department that you need O staff, but you don't need O county, so you will not be able to use. So they check all that, and then they give you the authorization to be able to log into all those applications at once, as my brothers have said. So it makes it easier and efficient for companies to run smoothly, just like Vincent just told us. But here's what is happening in real life, what Mr. Ash Mufara, what we are bringing now is really, really very appealing to every customer, to every business. Right now, today at work, each and every one of us, those of us who work, when you go to your job, to your office, usually there is one application, one system that you use 90% of the time. That's where you work, you do your job. But there are other supporting applications that you need to also assist you every now and then. For instance, you might have a problem with that application, with the system that you're using. You want to raise a ticket, right? Or you need help or something. You go out, you log into another system called, there's something called ServiceNow, for instance. You go into ServiceNow and you raise a ticket, and then you log in, username, password, you're authenticated, the system goes, takes time, you log in. What about at the end of the week? You want to submit your timesheet. You've worked for your 40 hours. You want to submit your timesheet. You will go back to another application. There's something called Daptive. It's made by a company called ChangePoint. You launch that application. You sign in. You put your time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You put your 40 hours, and then you submit. What if you want to check your pay, check what you were paid that week? You wanted to see if they took taxes or whatever you want to do. You want to look at your paycheck, or you are applying for some loan or something personal, and you need a copy of your pay slip for some verification. You go out, you go to, there's an application, popular application, ADP. Everybody knows ADP. You log into ADP, you go in there, you click and you print out. So that's what is happening currently. Everybody, that's a common experience that we all face today. You go into one application to the next. You want to take time off from work. You go, there's another application called Workday. You go into Workday, you submit your time, your manager approve, and on and on and on. That is what is happening. What Mr. Ash is bringing forth, or what we are bringing in this one massive ecosystem with a single sign-on system, it alleviates that problem. Just as our brother Vincent has told us, this efficiency, it moves fast. You don't have a wait time, latency. No, there's nothing like that, and it cuts. It even helps the company save. So that is the beauty about our single sign-on system that we are implementing, that is coming with our ecosystem that we're rolling out to the world. We also talk about our integrated wallet, because the single sign-on comes in with an integrated wallet. We have a wallet that is integrated within our ecosystem to a vast marketplace. Remember, we have our own marketplace that has the wallet that is integrated into it. Our marketplace is comparable to me. I think it's going to be the world's best marketplace. Think about Amazon, think about Amazon.com, think about eBay, think about Alibaba.com. We have something called OCommerce. This application, these systems, I crave your indulgence to remember, these systems were built in the mid-90s. 1994, 1995, I think Alibaba was 1999 or something like that. Artificial intelligence has been around for a while, yes, but we're not talking about artificial intelligence in 1995 or 1994. We're talking about .com, guys. Remember the .com era? That's the .com. Systems were built, rapid application development and things like that. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about AI. All passive marketplace comes with artificial intelligence inside the architecture from the scratch, from the ground up, with a wallet that is integrated into it. There's security, like Brother Oliver said, there's security. We have facial recognition. You have facial recognition. There's nobody in this world who can alter their face, their identity, your eye. Once you take that snapshot of who you are and it is connected to your wallet, I don't know if there's anybody who can bypass that security measure when it comes to our own wallet. We have SSL certificates that authenticate each transaction that is coming through. They make sure this transaction is a safe, secured, is from a secure, safe source, and then they enable the encryption to go back and forth from one endpoint to another through another protocol, like Oliver said, called TLS. The latest version is 1.3, very secure. It's encrypted, constantly encrypted. Even if you hack into the system, you cannot get, by encryption would mean you scramble readable information, you scramble it such that it cannot be read. Only the destination endpoint, the person that's receiving it at the other end, they have a logical key that they can use to open to see that information. Otherwise, even if you hack it, you will not see it. And I believe that we also have another protocol called file hashing, which locks the it locks the file to maintain its integrity, because we are dealing with wallet here. Money is constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we are dealing with a lot of money. So they are locking it to make sure it gets to the destination intact. The integrity cannot be altered. I'm thinking about this wallet. This is my thought aloud. I'm just thinking aloud. What do we think in about 2 years' time, 2-3 years from now? Do you think the whole world will be inside on-passive marketplace OCommerce with that wallet inside? And we have the capability, us as founders, we have the capability to transfer funds between ourselves. What do we think? I'm just thinking out loud how this wallet, this old wallet as a product, could actually impact movement of, finances sometime in the future. It's just a possibility that I'm thinking out loud here. you know. So the O wallet being integrated into our marketplace and within our product is a huge deal that could really change things moving forward. We need the next 3 to 5 years. O wallet could be the norm around the world. Remember, we're in 220 plus countries right now. And OnPassive is popular. It's going to be popular with our traffic and everything that's coming. The whole world is going to know us, and we are credible. We are being branded perfectly. And then we talk about our crowdfunding also being part of it. You come into a system as a founder or even as a customer in our e-commerce, as you are getting out, you see a good cause. The world's best crowdfunding system being put together. What can you chip in? Especially those of us who are founders, when you're cashing out of your wallet, man. I hope that there is some kind of like a check box that you can just check and put an auto, because I will do it. I don't think $100 every transaction will kill me. So just imagine 1.3 million founders just checking that box, say, okay, every time that you come in and get out, there's $100 going into Obless. And then Obless, of course, will be distributed to the various goodwill initiatives around the world. 1.3 million times 100 every week. Then you multiply that. See what could happen to the world, what we could do. You know, it is, I mean, it's beautiful to be part of this movement, I would say, you know. And then, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about compliance. You know, OnPassive is built with anti-money laundering embedded inside. So there's no, it's bad news for scammers, like we say, like my brother Oliver just referenced again. Scammers are not going to have a way through with us, with OnPassive. Our security posture is 100%. We don't guarantee, but it is. Our security posture is strong. From the outside, it is hard to hit OnPassive. I can tell you that. I'm a security analyst. It is hard to hit analysts. And we have internal QA team, specialist team that are penetration testers. Their role is to make sure they figure out a way to break OnPassive. And then we fix it. They are good, the white hat hackers. They are constantly, as the bad guys are out there trying to figure out the way. We have internal good guys, part of our team, who are constantly figuring out also how to break it. And if they succeed, we fix it. There's anti-money laundering, so nobody's going to come in and try to want to play games. First of all, like Oliver said, artificial intelligence has an inherent defensive capability, monitoring. It's like you have a system and you have a security guard, you have a building. Let's say you have a building with a security guard in every room, in that standing at the door, always alert, constantly, all the 24/7. It never gets tired. That is OnPassive. That's how the monitoring. That's what AI brings. And then once anything happens, we have that defensive capability as well. We have incident response teams that are standing by. They are ready to respond. So we are, in fact, let me just leave it there. Then we also have compliance, other compliance issues like privacy issues. With that, we are building this system with that in mind. In Europe, for instance, Europe is very serious. England, where Collins and Vincent are, they have laws, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, which even Collins's email address in England, according to GDPR, is a personal data. So any system that collects that information must have solid security controls in place to protect it. In North America here, we have something called CCPA, California Commission. So all this system, all OnPassive system is being built with that in mind, the security controls postures that we have. Vincent talked about PCI DSS compliance, payment card industry data security standard. Yeah, that's another one. We are collecting credit card information. Banks have put themselves together, all major banks, and they came up with what they call a PCI council, where they have listed certain specific security controls that systems such as ours must comply with. And we have it. All the various security control measures that should be in place we do have it. And of course, we talked about HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability Act, something like that, because some of our information are going to be collecting health information, personal PHI, personal health information. So there are certain rules, restrictions that has to be in place. When you have all this and all what my friends have said, then you achieve what is called digital trust. 100% digital trust. And that is where Mr. Ash Mufareh is taking us to. The era of digital transformation and digital trust. Thank you, Auntie Lynn. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Bob. That was an excellent presentation to give us an understanding of why we are in such a good place. Security is the top notch. We are also 100% compliant. So this is wonderful news for each and every one of us. All right, next we have our layperson, Jeffrey Morlock. He's very excited about this topic, and I'm sure he is raring to go. Take the floor, Jeffrey.
Wow. Man alive. You guys are bringing up so many good points. I can't keep, I'm trying to make notes, like, wow, this is good, that sort of thing. I'm in love with everything on passive. So it's no surprise that this stuff is right up my alley too, Vincent talked a little bit about authentication, and concerning that, there's actually, 3 main players with SSO. You've got the identity provider, the trusted agent. We talked a lot about trust, and we've also got the service provider, right? And the process, the SSO process, is actually based on trust between the folks that hold the identity information, that's us, right? And those that can authenticate it, and those that actually have the products that we want to access. So that's what we're doing. It's a huge thing globally. It's something that is not only up and coming, but you're finding out that if people are not implementing these kinds of strategies and these sorts of security layers, then they're falling behind the curve. And my guess is they're going to fall by the wayside while the other people emerge on top. So as we know, Mr. Mufareh has added an additional layer of security, right? I mean, he's taking it to the next level. We know and love that as the OTP, the one-time password. And when you combine that with the SSO, we get what's called multi-factor authentication, because it requires at least 2 pieces of evidence to prove the identity of who we are when we say we are so-and-so during a sign-on. In our case, we've got that 6-digit code that we get via email. And I'm very grateful that he's doing that, because that really takes us up and beyond what is even happening with most other companies, to show that they're going that extra step. We also talked a little bit about customer experience, better customer experience with the SSO. And there's actually a study out that said that there was a lot of folks that abandoned their carts online because of password reset issues and forgotten passwords. And that's like 20% of the users with a cart just abandon the cart because they get so frustrated over the password issues, which SSO is a cure for, kind of like we're the cure for corruption, I guess. There was also in talking to the customer experience, when you implement SSO, because of what it does to the actual experience, especially with on passive, when you look at the freshness and you look at the layout and you look at the security and you look at the ease of use and everything, a lot of the low hanging fruit, so to speak, that we see with SSO is actually things like higher conversion rates, customer loyalty, brand visibility, that's going to become very, very important, since on passive is not branding on passive. They're branding us. They're branding the users. They're branding the founders and the resellers and the customers with their own sites and stuff like that. So when you look at benefits as well, there's another one that we could mention about increased productivity for employees, especially. It's single sign-in increases their productivity simply because of the time spent signing on and managing multiple passwords goes away, right? I mean, we spend a lot of time changing, resetting passwords and stuff like that, not to mention trying to remember all of our passwords and looking them up and figuring out where they are so we can use them. So that's a lot of time that adds up there that we can be saved by SSO. Now, Bob talked a little bit about SSO in business efficiencies, which I love because that is the dominant trend. And we know that all the businesses are moving to the cloud. They're all taking advantage of third-party services so that they can bring all these together to seamlessly access multiple apps from anywhere, from anytime. Mr. Mufara actually mentioned a very good example of that when he said, oh, staff is ready and he'll be able to, no matter where he is in the world, he can now go onto his laptop, do his single sign-on, and he can view floors, different locations, whatever he wants, straight from this app, which is, I mean, that's phenomenal for the whole world. So, it's also good to note that OnPassive is actually exceeding best practices. The industry standards right now, which talks again to the high standards of OnPassive with this SSO and then combining it for multi-factor authentication, they're already above a lot of people. And we know that no matter how big we get, no matter how many products we have, that they're going to continually develop, they're going to continually grow this, they're going to continually keep up, if not actually drive the new technology. And a lot of this is going to be available to us, right? Every tool, every department, every product is going to be available to us in this one location under SSO. And that doesn't matter how big we're going to get. And you know we're going to get big because we're already seeing the telltale signs of it. Matter of fact, he showed us a lot of stuff here lately when you start adding these things up about the massivity of what OnPassive is. And then you remember him saying at least once a week for the last 150 weeks, how big you think we are, rethink because we're bigger, you know? Bob also talked on the impact of SSO to the world. I love that. I know that that is near and dear to me when we talk to that about OnPassive in particular. And I know that Mr. Mufara actually hit on that last night too, because I mean, this whole SSO thing, it's not new. We're just learning about it because now we're involved with a company that has it as a priority, and they're spotlighting, if you will, they're showing us how important this is to the world, and this is why we're using it. But when you start thinking SSO in a big picture like that, then it's actually to provide value to the world. And if you think of OnPassive, right, for us, there's that higher calling right there. Remember, we're about lifting humanity. And for us, SSO is the way that we give value to our friends, as Mr. Mufara said last night, you know, so that they can save time and they can save money. So they're not working so hard at life. You know, they're not invested so much in the struggle, right? They don't get caught up in the cares of the world so much, because through SSO and through these products and through the development of everything we're doing and through our efforts to lift humanity, especially when you look at that one absolute monumental product of Obless, holy camoli. I mean, we're going to be saving some people's, you know, a couple hours a day. I know Mr. Mufara talked about that. And when you multiply the population of the world, which is our, I mean, that's our market cap, right? And we're growing at, what was it, 200 million a day people into the world. And how long before those people are going to start actually needing and wanting and going on to the internet? I think Mr. Mufara last night actually said, you know what, that's going to become a necessity. You aren't going to be able to live without getting on the internet. And look how we're positioning ourselves now so that we're not only taking care of ourselves, but we're looking and projecting forward to take care of the many, many, many millions that are going to come to us later on down the road and their children for the next few generations. And I said all that to say this, that we're lifting that world with us, right? So that our friends are getting time and money. We're going to be saving them a whole lot of it. And in some cases, we're going to be saving them tons of time and providing lots and lots of money, and it's really going to change their world, and then that's going to have a trickle-down effect where they're going to be able to change the world for a lot of other people. And so life is just going to be so much better. But the whole point here is SSO is a part of securing and making safe that future that's being developed by Mr. Mufara and the entirety of OnPassive. And God bless all you techs. You were putting too much information out for me to keep up with. So thank you, Lynn.
Jeffrey, that was excellent. So many points you covered. Okay, I have a question. We're going to end soon, but I want to ask you guys a question. Now, we know OnPassive is offering all this huge value to the world. Currently, as far as you guys know, are there any companies that offer a single sign-on for all of their products? As far as you're aware, is there do we have competition, in other words? Whoever wants to take that.
Well, I can start, but you know what? I think the techs would probably know a lot more than I would, but I would dare say right out of the gate that there are a lot of companies that have single sign-ons, but they in no way even come close to the massivity and the value that OnPassive is not only holding now, right, in escrow for the founders, but where we're going, where we're headed. And anybody looking at that trajectory, I'm telling you, it's a 45-degree angle from here to there, and they will. No, do we have competition? No, actually, they're gonna join us because we're that much better.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Let me just add to
Okay,
what
guys.
Jeffrey said. You know, I think I will discuss it with Brother Oliver. I think it was long ago when Microsoft did it. You know, the Microsoft package. That was a single sign-on. You log in and you get to all Word, Excel, and stuff. And that was long ago. But we are talking about digital product, web application. Microsoft did, it wasn't a web application when they did it. But we are talking about web application. That is the most difficult things to do. To bring all web application to a single sign-on is just crazy. So I just want to add that.
Then I also want to add this. I'm sorry, Lynn. I want to add this, that
No, go ahead. This is a free
no,
discussion. Yeah. Anybody can talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, there is no company that we, the tech guys, we know that we are in the industry that will beat us. We are on 500 miles per hour. They are on 50 miles per hour. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Auntie Lynn. Like we also want to have our own input to this discussion. So they are well known, a lot of company outside there. We have like Microsoft Azure AD. So Azure AD is used for authentication in the Microsoft Azure cloud. So they are there. They are also Okta. We have secure login. We have also Halo ID. But like Jeffrey, Oliver, and Colin said, none of them can compare to us. So there are many competitors in the, like I mentioned them right now, but none of them have the better security or the better single sign-on as we did. So this is what I would say.
Let me just put it in the words of Ash Mufara. We are different. We are coming in. We don't even want to compare with what we have in the industry right now, because what we are, our offering is unmatched. It's totally different. Yeah.
You know, Oliver, you reminded me of a clip, a favorite clip that I've got. You know what? I'm going to put it at the end of the video that I make. And it's Mr. Mufara. And he's got that glint. You can see this glint, this knowing glint of excitement where he's busting at the seams and he wants to tell you something, but he knows he can't, right? And he sat there, and you guys will remember this. He says, there is no company on the planet that will give you the value OnPassive is going to give you. And he stops and says, wait a minute. No, let me say it. There is no company on the planet that's going to give you what OnPassive is going to give you and give you the value that you're going to get from OnPassive. And he says that like 3 or 4 different times, you know, you finally get the message. There is no company on the planet like us that will keep up with us, that can do what we do, and will lift humanity like we are, period.
I love it. I love it. I think that is a fitting conclusion to our webinar today. We want to thank you all for being here, our attendees. We had a very active chat going on. People are excited to learn this material, and now they're realizing they can understand this technical material, even as lay people. And that is the goal of our group here. Our motto is keeping it simple. And that is what we intend to do every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So please join us. We use the same link from week to week. We also post a link in the back office as well as in social media. You can watch the replay of this webinar very easily. It has been live streamed on multiple YouTube channels, so you have easy access to watch it again if you like, and share the restream, the live stream with others as well. Thank you very much. So on behalf of the OTECH pros, thank you for attending, and we will see you all next week, Saturday at the same time. Aloha, and thank you all. Head on over to the Kenya webinar, which is starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We will log in a few minutes. The topic is the same, the single sign-on system with the same crew that you have here. They'll be speaking as well. So join us there. The link is posted in the back office. Thank you, and bye-bye from all of us.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.